Hello everyone, this is our first part of teaching anatomy in biology in everyday life 103. I chose different systems. I chose to teach you about circulatory system, respiratory system, digestive and urinary system. Okay, now the reason I chose those systems is for you to understand few diseases that you tend to hear about on a daily basis, but you don't know where is the location of it inside your body. And since our theme of biology is biology in everyday life, okay, I chose these systems and I chose certain diseases to mention. It is very important to understand that the models I will show you, I need you to imagine that this is real organs. And when you write a lab report creating your background information, which is found in the microscope, in the PowerPoint, over here, your purpose is learning about the system anatomically and physiologically. So you will ask a question and then you will give me a hypothesis. As for the procedure part, you will just mention that real organs, instructor is pointing to real organs, that's it. For the result, you can use the same the same pictures I'm using from PowerPoints, similar to those over here, as the result, and then in your conclusion you will conclude for me your own understanding from the four systems that I will explain for you. Okay, so I will cover today circulatory system, respiratory system, and next class I will cover digestive and urinary system. Okay. So hi everyone, I need you first of all to look at these model. This is a model of the heart and this is a model of the lung. I need you to just take a moment and think as if this is real organs, since I cannot get a real organ for the time being. Now, our lab report will focus on the anatomy of circulatory system and respiratory system. When we speak about anatomy, it means that we are learning about the shape of the organ, the location of the organ, where it is located inside the body. And when we learn about the physiology of the organ, physiology means the function, we are learning about the function of the organ. So today, mainly our purpose of experiment is learning about the anatomy and physiology of both circulatory system and respiratory system. So this is our main purpose. Now, as I said earlier, think that this is real organ, okay? When we speak about circulatory system, mainly the first thing that popped in your head is the heart. Now, it doesn't consist of the heart only. It consists of the heart, the arteries and the veins as well, because this is where the blood passes through, and blood is part of the circulatory system. Now I need you to think of the blood as messenger. It carries white blood cells, the defense mechanism, red blood cells, the one that is responsible to serve and oxygen to all cells. It carries nutrients, it carries platelets for blood coagulation, so it's a carrier and a messenger. It carries all these things and pass it and transfer it to all over the body. But that messenger cannot work without the CEO. This is the one that is responsible to pump the blood to all over the body. So as a beginning, we learned that the circulatory system consists of heart, arteries, veins, and blood. When we look at the heart, it looks like a cone shape, It is wide from the top, pointed from the bottom. It is located between your lungs, as you can see over here. Centered little bit toward the left. Okay? So focus with me over here now on that heart. Before we learn about how the blood pumps, I need you to look inside the heart. And yes, it is the size of your own fist. Now, when you look from inside the heart, it is separated into 4 rooms, 2 on top, 2 in the bottoms. This is the one in the bottom. What separates the top one from the bottom is this one. These are the valves. I'm sure that you heard about what we call it as valves. So the 2 on the tops are called atrium. The 2 in the bottoms are called ventricles. What separates them are the valves. Okay? Now, this is a septa. It is called septa. Separates between the 4 chambers basically. 2 atrium, 2 ventricle. Now, according to the location, okay, this is the left side and this is the right side because it is located this way. Okay? So, it is a cone shape located between the lungs, little bit toward this, the left side. From inside, it is separated into 4 chambers or 4 rooms, 2 atrium on the top, 2 ventricles on the bottom, and what separates them are the valves over here. Now, imagine with me the blood needs oxygen. Basically, the white blood cells needs oxygen. So it will enter the heart. It comes from all over. It comes from all over the body, from the upper extremities and lower extremities, and they enter the heart. And as you can see over here, it is blue in color. Why it is blue in color? Because it has no oxygen. It will enter the right side over here, atrium. Once the blood is filled in the atrium, the valve will open and allow it to go to the ventricle, right side ventricle. The right side ventricle will transfer it where, see, it is still blue, to the lungs. Blood will collect oxygen from the lungs since it is responsible for the breathing, for the respiration. It gets the oxygen. And they re-enter the heart. Now this time, as you can see, it is red in color into the left side atrium. So now it is red because it has oxygen. Left side atrium, then to the left side ventricle, and then it passes over here from this part to all over the body. This is the aorta where it actually pumps the blood to all over the body from head to toes. Okay? So basically, this is the function of circulatory system. It pumps blood, it transfers all the nutrients and white blood cells and oxygen to all over the body. It is controlled by the heart, and the blood passes through arteries and veins. So I gave you how the blood passes. I will repeat it again. It collects blood deoxygenated in the right atrium to the right ventricle. It goes to the lungs. It re-enters the heart again with oxygen to the left atrium, to the left ventricle, and then it pumps through the aorta, the largest artery, to all over the body. This is simply the whole explanation about circulatory system. It looks simple, but yet it is complicated. Okay, so this is what I need you to focus on, circulatory system. As I said earlier, we are learning about the physiology and anatomy of circulatory system and respiratory system. Now in the pictures, in the PowerPoints, you will find the basic nose and mouth that is responsible for respiratory system, because it has many organs, starting with the nose, with mouth, then larynx and pharynx over here. This is over here the windpipe, or we call it trachea, and then the trachea reaches into a point where it separates. Now this picture over here of the lungs, this is what actually you memorize in your head. What's inside it, it matters for me. This is a muscular tissue. That tissue, that muscular tissue that support and protect the trachea from inside, also it expand and for the process of respiration, when you inhale and exhale the air. And as I said, it is a protection for the trachea and the bronchus, okay? Now when we look from inside, the trachea, as I said, it reaches into a point where it separates. Let me try to remove this, but it is hard. Okay, it's the same side, same thing to the other side. This is the bronchus, and the smaller tree shape, we call it as a bronchioles. At the end of each bronchioles, from the picture I will let you learn about, you will view or you will find the alveoli. Alveoli are air sacs. Usually it's at the end. It is air sacs filled with oxygen, okay? So when you exhale when you inhale the air, it passes through the nose, mouth to the trachea, from trachea to bronchus to bronchioles, till the ends alveoli, where actually it extracts the oxygen and releases back through exhalation the rest of the air, unwanted air. Okay? Now in the air sacs, it actually absorbs or extracts the oxygen from the air, and it is kept there. Remember when I told you about the heart? It goes to the lungs to collect oxygen. They reaches the alveoli over here in order to collect the oxygen from there. Okay? So basically, this is the simplest way I can actually explain circulatory system and respiratory system. Now, why am I actually choosing those systems? Because to serve your biology theme, it is called biology in everyday life. We hear about diseases that affect the lungs, the heart, but we never know the location of it, okay? Now, for example, when we hear about a blockage in the arteries or a problem that happens in the valves, these are the valves that we are speaking about. When we hear about people who are having asthma, the problem is with the air sacs, because it cannot actually collect, the air sacs are collapsed and cannot collect the oxygen. So this is people with asthma. During coronavirus, it affects the lungs, it affects the muscular tissue that becomes like what we call it as cirrhosis. It affects the lungs in which they cannot be breathed, and this is why people are being admitted for respiration and oxygen, if you know what I mean. So the virus itself affects other than the blood cells and the DNA, it also affects the lungs. Okay? So I hope that you understand now what we are talking about, why people need respirator in the hospitals.